Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
How are you?
I've got butterflies.
I know I'm so nervous.
But you know what's funny? I was like looking over everything that you sent me, my homework, and I'm like, this is our story. Like,
I
why are
know.
we don't need to be nervous
I
because we're
know.
sharing what we love, and it's exciting that we get to do it like this.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening as a podcast, this is our first time recording in a studio, like the bigwigs.
Another one under the belt. Like it's like
No,
you know how we were just saying like this is another milestone and we'll look back on this. Like, you know those little books that you make me with the chapters of Pacific Touch?
It's so true.
It's another chapter.
Yeah. Well, I said last week on the episode that we have some big, exciting things coming up. So this is part of it, you know, getting our podcast out there. We really want to have some guests on. So we're kind of just, you know, exploring what it's like to be in a studio. And it kind of feels real.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were here when you did Elizabeth's podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know.
It
It's
was
kind of
so
taking
much
me back
fun.
on it. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sitting over there like
I feel like you
watching.
got the bug then.
Yeah.
That was kind of that
Well,
planted
then I
the
was like,
seed
we
of
could
like,
really
we
do
can do
this.
this.
Yeah.
Although I've had so many clients tell me that they wish that we had done like a podcast or something that they can listen to, like another medium to like share information. But the funny thing is the feedback I'm getting is everybody loves like the stories that we share and kind of the more personal side of Pacific Touch, which I think is nice. It's like we're able to kind of
people
open
get to
the
know
doors.
us, I feel.
Yeah.
You know? It's like more than just a facial, as Pacific Touch is.
Exactly.
Which is amazing. I mean, even like looking back at all of our other podcast episodes that we've done, I mean, there's so much information. I was re-listening to some because I was like, I want to know what we've like talked about and asked and everything. So even just all of the episodes, this will be our 24th episode.
What's your favorite so far? Or what subject have you liked?
I mean, I really love talking about like products and routine. So I really enjoyed that. I honestly do feel like I learn a little something in each episode.
I was going to say, that's one of my
time.
favorite things about doing this with you.
Yeah.
Is that when I see your eyes go really wide and I know that
I'll
you've
end
learned
an episode
something,
and I'll be like,
I'm like,
we did something here.
Yeah, but I even think to myself that goes to show there's more information to share because you've been with me for so long. I assume you know, I mean, you do know a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than the average person for sure.
Yeah.
Average esthetician in some respects. But even the fact that you get something from it makes me think, okay, this is valuable.
It's something for sure. Well, hopefully now that we're in a studio, like the bigwigs, like I said, you know, more and more people can just like hear all of the things and learn more, just like I've been learning under you.
It's an important, message.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed to be on this journey for sure.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Today I thought I would go over, you know, back to the basic in the sense of why we should use the Pacific Touch method to clear acne. Like why Pacific Touch, especially out of all of the things out there, whether it's like dermatology or, you know, I don't know, the holistic route or whatever treatments, X, Y, and Z, Accutane, you name it, there's so many things. In the midst of all that, why should we use Pacific Touch? So I thought that would be a good, you know, first time in the studio. I'm going to keep referring to the studio because I feel like we're, you know, just such hot shots.
Just to remind people where we are.
Right. Yeah, totally. Especially, you know, if you're listening as a podcast. So I kind of wanted to reintroduce you and your backstory with Pacific Touch, why you created it and how we got here.
So, I mean, I had my own personal journey with acne from 13 to 32. And I'm originally from New Zealand. I was a child protection social worker. I came on an overseas trip with my bestie and fell in love with New York. And it was unplanned and spontaneous, but I ended up living here. And when I decided that I needed to live here, I needed to find a profession that like fulfilled me. And I was still struggling with my skin. So going to skin school was twofold. It was like to help me clear my own skin, but also my mum was an esthetician. So I was like, this is, I think, something I could bring the Pacific to New York. And at that point, it was just the energy. I wasn't even thinking about becoming an acne specialist at that point, but I think it just naturally evolved because everything that I've ever thought or put into Pacific Touch, I it's the esthetician that or the facial treatment that I wanted when I was going through my struggle.
Mhm.
So Pacific Touch is like, it's a place where a lot of people come when they feel like they've tried everything. So it is, I mean, I just got a voice message last night from a client. I actually listened to it, it was like midnight. I should have been
Oh
asleep.
my gosh.
But it was the sweetest message, and she was tearing up as she was saying it. And she was saying, I tried Accutane, I tried spironolactone, I went to so many different dermatologists and different estheticians,
Aw.
and I have gotten more progress at Pacific Touch in my 13-year journey than anywhere else. And you're changing my
Oh my
life.
gosh. You'll have
And
to
I
tell
was,
me after who this is.
yeah, but you know what? I've heard that a number of times now, and I feel like that is the Pacific Touch journey. We are
Mhm.
the place you go when you don't have hope anymore.
Mhm.
And I think my answer to your question about like why Pacific Touch, our specialty is lifting people up.
Mhm.
Like there is
Yep.
definitely a physical treatment, and you
Mhm.
can't get away from some of the more mechanical aspects of acne healing, meaning extractions and different things. But I think that our methodology is so caring, even in the way we deal with skin. Like, you know
Mhm.
how I'm very much a barrier warrior,
Mhm.
and it's a journey that takes longer. But I think what's beautiful about it and why I will always be a champion of this is that you find balance without relying on medication or harsh topicals.
Mhm.
So you get the best skin of your life
Mhm.
because it's so healthy and so strong, but you're not worried like what happens if I go off
Mhm.
XYZ.
Yeah.
Because those are the other clients that come to us, right? The clients
Right.
that have suppressed their acne for a decent amount of time on birth control, spironolactone, sometimes Accutane, but then the rebound happens for so many people.
Mhm.
So, you know, I would say that the biggest reason that I encourage people to try our methodology is that you get true skin freedom
Mhm.
and you
So true.
find balance, and you actually, and this sounds cheesy and it's the mum and me and the social worker and me, but you heal the relationship with your skin in the best way. Because
Mhm.
anyone that's listening right now that struggle with their skin, especially acne, you know how negative it is, right?
Mhm.
Like from teenage years, we're like scrubbing our skin, we're drying it out.
Mhm.
I used to do so many things. I didn't care if if I had little burns or wounds.
You
Like,
thought that the burning was good. Like
oh, you
that's
wanted it.
right. Yeah.
It's a punishment. Like you hate the acne so much, you just want it off your
Mhm.
face,
Yeah. It's so true.
And even though it's been like, I haven't had a full flare up since 32, so it's been a good 20 years. I remember it's ingrained in the fabric of
Mhm.
my DNA, what it
Yeah.
feels like to go through that
Right. And
journey.
it's like if you know, you know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And I
Yeah.
do think, like, I know that people that haven't had acne can technically clear acne, but I think what we're able to offer, because I've also attracted a whole team of people
Mhm.
that have gone through the journey. So it's just we're oozing empathy, right?
Yeah.
Like up the wazoo. That
Right.
is what
Because
we
again,
have.
I think everybody on our team has been through the journey in some way. I mean, I resonate so much with what you're talking about because I was that person who
Yeah.
tried everything, everything under the sun other than Accutane, because that was the line that I didn't want to cross. And found you. I started off as a client in 2019. I found you through Elizabeth of Sweats in the City. So it's very full circle that like now we're sitting
Yeah.
here. Um, and I truly felt like heard and validated in everything that I was feeling when it comes to my skin, when it comes to my acne. And no dermatologist, no person had ever made me feel that way until I came to Pacific Touch. Even though the journey's long and I still, am going
And
through it
it's
in my own
hard.
way, it's
It's
really
hard.
hard. There's so many times where I just want to be like, why can't I be like every other girl who can put anything on their face or like can just go to the dermatologist and get like X, Y, and Z medication, but nothing worked. I had tried it and I didn't want that at the end
Or
of the
it
day.
works until it doesn't.
Right.
And that's the thing, because
It's
I
so
remember
true.
on my
We say that a
journey,
lot.
yeah, but that's the thing too. I think the misconception is that if you try whatever medication it is, Accutane is a good one because I went on that multiple times. You will have stretches of time where you're clear because you can beat skin into submission,
Yeah.
whether that be strip it dry or obliterate the microbiome, taking out the acne-causing bacteria, but also, weakening the barrier. But if you don't fix what the imbalances are, and you don't learn how to support your acne-prone skin, which is genetic, you're going to have reoccurrences
Yeah.
all throughout your life. So it's like, make peace with your condition, embrace being acne-prone. You don't need to embrace the acne. I'm not going to be like, I remember what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's why I'll never be down on my clients when they pick. I won't give them, kind of lectures about things and make them feel even worse, because I can feel the energy when they come into the room. And in my head, like, obviously I'm going to help them clear their skin, but I'm wanting to lift their spirit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happiest when I see people happy. And my goal is to actually make you happy in your journey, because life's happening like now.
Right.
Like, that's the other lesson that I learned in my really long journey with acne is this is a period, every day that you have on earth is like important. Like, enjoy your life. Like, don't get so bogged down, which is why we
I
do
think
the
especially,
community events and stuff, like we want to make this bigger than a treatment.
Yeah. I think especially since a lot of our clients that come in are, early 20s, mid 20s to mid 30s or whatever. So in that like
Prime
time, I
time.
guess. And it's really hard. I feel that so much because you don't want to like waste away these years, but then you also feel so down about your skin. It's crazy how much it affects your confidence. So
Yeah. Well, the
I
sad thing
relate, but it's
is,
like when you have the community or when I think like being a part of Pacific Touch has really just made me like accept where I'm at in my journey, whatever it is. It could be like so, scarred up after an extraction forward facial or super clear or whatever.
but you're so inspiring
Right.
to so many people in the community. I'm always getting DMs
Uh,
about your energy and even your story. Like, when you post parts of your story on the Pacific Touch page, people are just
Yeah.
like, I mean, everybody's got each other's back, which is a
Yeah.
beautiful
it's
thing,
really great.
and that's what we're creating. And I
Yeah.
think the irony is that you're still young, but you've been going through it a long time. Like, when people come to me when they're 27, they've been going through acne for over a decade, and they're done psychologically over it. So that's the irony of this journey, is that it does beat you down, and a big part of our job is building up a person's mindset. Like, that is what's super important. But it's growing. I mean, the business, we were talking about it yesterday. This business today is not the business I started.
Yeah. It's so true.
In the best, most beautiful way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited, and I don't even think what we think it is today, it's going to be even bigger and better 2 years from now.
I know.
Just with
really
all of the
exciting.
different things that we're doing
Yeah.
and sharing, and just the messages you get from, I mean, obviously there's the direct PT family that we see in person, but then there's the online community and the global community, people like, write in from all different places. And it's so heartening
really
to know
cool.
that we're able to help people like that.
Yeah. So to kind of go back in your experience with the caseload that you've seen throughout the 15, 16 years you've been doing this, why, for the most part, do you think people are breaking out in the first place?
For most of us, there's a genetic component to acne. Most of us are acne prone, which gives us a different relationship to inflammation. I would go as far as to say I think it's more of a modern day problem. I think it's gotten bigger. Like, the more sort of we've strayed away from, like, even our ancestral diets and, modern day living.
Yeah. So do you think it's true that people like back in the day, like 100 years ago, didn't have acne?
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, they've
Crazy.
done studies. There's an island, I may get the name wrong, but I think it's Kitvalu, and they have stayed with their ancestral diet and pretty much live a very remote life, and they haven't had a reported case of acne like ever.
Wow.
So it is definitely, and if you look at countries, because this is, I mean, I'm going to go all over the place now, but if you know how in Western culture, the emphasis on acne healing is about oil and oil control. If you look at Mediterranean countries where people have very naturally oily skin, but their diets are very like anti-inflammatory, their work-life balance is a lot better than like our kind of Western way of life. And they're just the stress is not saying they're not stressful, but it's a different type of stress, way less skin conditions than what we do, and quality of food.
Yeah.
There's a whole
There's
there's
so
so
many
many
things.
reasons. I can't even you couldn't fit it into a podcast. So I would say it's like there's this genetic disposition for a lot of us. And on top of that, there's a lack of education from when we're younger about how to manage. It's almost like having a condition like diabetes. You need to learn how to manage the different things that are important to keep your skin balanced, because it's different from a non-acne prone person. Like that's why, your non-acne prone friends can like sleep in their makeup and not break out, use Dove soap, put anything on their faces. And they're fine. Whereas we'll like, if you skip your moisturizer one day, your skin breaks
Right.
out.
You can feel it. Yeah.
But there's all the environmental factors, there's internal imbalances,
Yeah.
there's the physical things like what products you're using.
There's so many different categories. It's not, a one size fits all.
No.
Which I think is what great about Pacific Touch, because we really focus on a custom treatment, a custom skincare routine, even in the treatment room at our flagship. It's fully whatever the client needs, because everybody's going through a different thing, and their acne is from different, flare-ups or
So
whatever.
many different things. And I mean, that's where it kind of is. It's like I started to change the word from facial to treatment, because I think when people hear facial, they think relaxation, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to, and we are playing detective. Like if you come to a facial at Pacific Touch, you're getting a treatment, and I'm going to find out what is important for you, and it will be different for what's important for the next person. And you can get these situations like, one that always sticks in my mind. I had a client years ago, had been on spironolactone, tried lots of dermatologist topicals, was just she couldn't get rid of this cystic acne on her cheeks. We're like doing facials, her skin's getting stronger, but she's still getting the cystic acne on her cheek. And we worked out in the end, it was a comfort blanket that she'd had since she was a child that she was sleeping with.
Yeah.
Now, this woman, when she first came to me, was on the verge of going on Accutane because nothing was working. But, you have to ask all the questions.
Right.
So, when you come into the treatment room, it's an education. It's we're going to do fact finding together, unpeel that onion. There's a lot of talking, there's a lot of education, sharing of educational material, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like all of the transformation photos that you will see that we put out, it's a good 6 to 8 months before you even really start to see the dramatic changes.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, I think when people first experience acne, and especially, in their late 20s, I think we see a lot of that of like, I never had acne. And then all of a sudden, and, I'm 27 and I'm breaking out. And the first path that a lot of people choose is to go to their dermatologist and get, because that's, what we're taught, I guess, is to go to the doctor, go to the dermatologist and see, what they can prescribe us. I mean, that's what I did, many dermatologists. But why do you think we should choose the Pacific Touch method over doing those topicals and prescriptions?
Because they have, I don't love suppression. Like I do, I'm not going to judge people, and we still will see some people, like we're not able to see people on Accutane because their barriers are just so fragile, they can't have a treatment. And I will still see people that are on suppressants, but I understand that it's just a problem brewing underneath the
Mhm.
surface. And
Right.
what's even worse for us is if the suppressants are doing major damage to the barrier, like really stripping it, drying it out, making it more reactive, it's actually creating a whole host of other problems.
Mhm.
Like we're seeing a lot of perioral dermatitis at the moment. And if you
Mhm.
strip away too much of the acne bacteria, like we actually, this is something a lot of people don't realize. We need like the acne bacteria that's on our skin, it gets
Mhm.
overgrown, in for a lot of acne prone people. And acne prone people have a more inflammatory response, but it does serve a purpose at the right level
Mhm.
and it helps protect the skin. And if you take the level too low, you'll get dermatitis.
Mhm.
So all of these topicals that are just stripping the microbiome, I mean, this is why we're seeing how many people do we see coming through at the moment
Yeah.
with some form of dermatitis
Yeah.
as
It's
well
really
as
crazy.
acne. So,
Especially
you
in the
know,
last, like, couple years, I feel.
yeah.
It's
So
really
there's that
interesting.
reason. And then the other reason, and this is another, so there's the 27-year-old that you were talking about, but then the other 27-year-old is the 27-year-old that wants to go off birth control or
Mhm.
spironolactone
Mhm.
because they've been on it. Like this is what happened for me
Right, from, like
from 15.
right.
And then, at 25, that's a decade. You
Mhm.
start to kind of like, oh, I don't really know that I want to keep being on this medication.
Yeah.
Or, you're wanting to conceive or start to think about having a baby. And what I love about the way that we work is because we can clear skin even when you're pregnant,
Yeah.
you can just keep going. And then once you're clear, like, yes, it does take longer, but once you're clear, that's yours. You're not going off something like the thing with Accutane or Spiro for
Mhm.
sure.
There's, like, a rebound phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so funny, I was watching a YouTube video of some influencer, and she was talking about how she went off, like, birth control and spironolactone and then was breaking out so much, but then she was like, "It's okay, I'm going to the dermatologist and being put it on some really harsh like, harsh products," and I was like, "That's not something to be celebrating," you
But
know?
that's the mentality, like,
Well, it's
I
just the
get so
lack of
sad.
education, like,
Yeah,
not a
but
lot of
no, but you
people
get
know.
yeah, it's lack of education, but it's
Mhm.
also there's a disconnectedness. Like if you were taught to fight your skin from when you're young, you disconnect from the damage.
Mhm.
Because when I think now, like the way that I view skin and revere it and want it to be healthy and strong, when I think about the things that I did, and I didn't care,
Mhm.
my skin would be
It's true.
falling off in
Mhm.
sheets and I couldn't care less as long as those pimples were drying up.
Mhm.
Some of those, I remember that Aztec clay mask with the vinegar, and I'd put it on and I'd feel it pulsing, and in my head I'd be like, this is great. And if I
Right,
was beetroot, I
exactly.
was like so happy.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest mistake people are making when they're trying to clear their skin?
Not giving things enough time and jumping around too much. I think that people need to pick a team. I'm
You
getting
say that a lot.
I am because I'm starting to realize how important it is.
Mhm.
We get a lot of people that are interested in the Pacific Touch method because they see the results,
Mhm.
but psychologically they're not in the
Well,
right
and
place
also,
for
like,
it.
in our industry, being, in more of holistic, integrative healthcare, like, we get a lot of those people who want to, not be on any medications or anything and do things the natural way.
Mhm.
And I think that we see those people and then they come in and they think that, like, "Oh, after I go off of everything and just do this, like, I'll be great."
And it's
You
not
know?
like that. There's
Right.
like you
There's a
said, there's a
commitment to it.
there's a
Mhm.
rebound from what you've done in history.
Right.
There's also a lot of things that you need to change, and it can feel the homework is overwhelming when you're a busy person.
Yeah.
And most of us are
But I also remember,
overscheduled.
like, with Pacific Touch and when I was a client first coming, I really appreciated all of the things that we received after our first facial. It was like a full-on follow-up. It was pore clogging ingredients. It was makeup, acne safe makeup
Mhm.
approved. It was like all of these products and things that I never received when I went to a dermatologist. Like, and that's really what I wanted. I just wanted somebody to like see it from a greater lens, like not just, oh, have a couple pimples. This is what it is. Here's like tretinoin, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's
That's
really
what it takes.
important. Right.
And we've even taken it, we've taken it a step further now with, more ongoing support.
Yeah.
I feel like in social work, I always knew when I was dealing with fragile populations that the work that you do in the moment in the room is nice,
Hmm.
but it's the follow through afterwards that's
Yeah.
most important. Like
Right.
what you're doing 60 times a month is more impactful than what we do once a month.
Hmm. Right.
And so being able to encourage support and keep people accountable for their journeys is
Hmm.
like an ongoing thing. But it's why we have, I mean, I don't know that I've ever been to a facial where the estheticians have had, virtual hours every week. Like
Hmm.
all of our team, it has their virtual hours so that people can check in if they need to, or the team reaches out to people.
Yeah.
We keep adding to that educational, the resources that clients can have. I'm jumping on Instagram once a week
Right.
to answer
Skin
questions
Talk
and keep
Tuesday.
Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Well, this is the inspiration
I
for this.
know,
But
right.
that's the thing. It's like you actually do need to be there for people more often than what I think the industry is giving them. It's not a product. It's not a treatment. It's a lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know? And I think in doing all of that, we've started to create something that I would even look at more. It's like we have a genuine community in New York City
Hmm.
of fabulous, fierce women
Hmm.
who just happen to be acne prone. Like we've kind of
Hmm.
knocked that off. It's not
Yeah.
there's not that fixation of, like, oh, my skin, my skin. It's like when we're all together, like, at the events that we do, or
Yeah.
just when I walk the hallways and I'll see you and Anna Lee or talking to clients, and we're a community.
Hmm.
People are,
Yeah.
so happy to be there.
Yeah. It's so
And
true because it's something that like you don't want to talk about really, just like to
yeah.
anyone. You don't want to point it out. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have an active breakout, it's like I don't want to point out that I have acne because I don't know if maybe it signals like a weakness or something. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't it's not like cool to have acne. It doesn't make you feel good. And I
Well, you
think
know
that
what?
yeah.
I remember someone saying, I thought it was you, but maybe it was someone else. I remember someone saying to me once that they felt like their skin betrayed them. Like it didn't match the lifestyle they were living. Like they were super
Yeah.
active, really put effort into what they were eating
Hmm.
and looking after themselves. And they just kind of felt like their skin was letting them down
Yeah.
and wasn't a reflection of who they were,
Hmm.
And so many people that get clear will actually say, I feel like myself, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
it's partly that.
crazy what a good skin day will do to your confidence,
Yeah.
especially if you've been in this space of not having good skin.
I remember, I mean, like I said to you, even though it's been a long time, when I'm in the treatment room with people and I put my hands on their faces, I instantly, I can feel like I
Yeah.
remember what it was like. And I know
Yeah.
how hard it is. I know how hard it is to kind of, especially because in high school, there's kind of company and misery. Like
Hmm.
everybody's pimply, or,
Yeah.
the majority are.
Yeah.
And it slowly starts to dwindle away the older you get. And then you feel like more and more alone on your
Right.
journey. Like
Right.
all your other
Especially like,
friends are,
yeah. Especially when you're older, back to that 27-year-old example,
it's
like
like, when is it going
you're
to
like,
stop?
right. Or it's like you think that something's wrong or that you're not doing it or, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
What do you think the most important thing is that somebody can do to try to heal their skin?
Okay, I'm just all about the cheese balls today.
That's why we're here.
Mindset is medicine. The most
Yeah.
important thing, if you don't, I mean, really, when you look at any other thing that you do in life, whether
Mhm.
it be your job, sport, whatever, your head needs to be in the game.
Mhm.
I'll tell you a little secret.
Oh, okay.
I know when people walk in the door, strangers, I can look in their eyes and feel the energy. I know the ones where their head is in the game straight away. They will
Mhm.
walk out the door, and in my head, I'm like, that person is
You've said that
on
before
their
to
way.
me. Yeah.
The great thing is, I have actually had people that haven't had their heads in the game, and I've kind of even questioned if they're going to come back, and they've switched.
Yeah.
So it is possible to get your head in the game, but until you do that, you won't do anything else.
Mhm.
The people whose mindset is when they buy in fully and
Mhm.
commit, they do all the things that they need to do to get there, and they don't let because healing's not linear.
Mhm.
It's a roller coaster, and the first 3 or 4 months, as you know, are horrendous sometimes, especially if you've been on suppression medications and things. There's like a tsunami that happens with acne
Mhm.
when you let go of all that suppression, and that needs to be managed on top of everything else, and it's
Mhm.
really, really difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, if your mindset is 100%, that is the most important thing, which is
Yeah.
why we're putting so much more effort into,
Mhm.
the affirmation cards,
Mhm.
our meditation candle,
Mhm.
the check-ins.
Well, it's just so crazy how much of a difference it makes, and as cheesy as it sounds, and I was almost admittedly resistant to it for a really long time because I
Yeah,
was like,
it
sure, like,
can't
on the
be that
surface, like,
simple.
yeah, well, it's like, yeah, no, for sure, like, I'm grateful for the messages my skin is sending me, blah, blah, blah. But I think once you really are like, no matter what my skin is looking like today, I love myself, I am
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, say those affirmations. I'm even like cringing saying them out loud, but it's like, it's so true.
It's
It's
true.
really true when you say them in the mirror, like how much of a difference it makes. I think that that has been the game changer, even in the last 6 months of my own healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
which has been anything but linear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that has been the one thing where I'm like, oh, they were right, like
Yeah,
they were right. Like having it changes your attitude, it changes like how you show up for yourself and then for the people around you. And I
absolutely.
think that it's like your skin and your brain and your body listens to that in a way.
Well, remember that when we were talking to the woman that has the probiotic kuma, is it kuma?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how she said that negative thoughts actually impact your
Yeah.
gut microbiome? And gut health is in terms of the internal imbalances is huge for acne.
Mhm.
Huge. It's one of the main drivers. So it's like, okay, even on that physiological level, negative thoughts are creating the situation,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
what's so crazy about that is I heard that and then I did the GI map test with
Mm-hmm.
Diana. And in the map test, I found out that I had super low levels of good bacteria and higher levels of bad bacteria. And I mean, who knows if the correlation is there, but it's got to be in some way.
I wholly
Especially
believe it.
after hearing that, I'm like, oh my gosh. So you're saying that like
Mm-hmm.
all of the negative thoughts that I've had about
Mm-hmm.
myself, because I'm only human, it happens, that has been actually impacting me physically.
Well, that's the like the vicious cycle of acne, and why
Yeah.
the whole reason why I put the affirmations up on the mirror in the treatment room in the first place was just the knowledge of my own journey, that of what I used to think when I looked in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like trying to disrupt that negativity
Mm-hmm.
and flip the mindset
Mm-hmm.
and showing how important it
That's almost
is.
like the first step to healing, I
Yeah,
feel.
it really is. And for some
Yeah.
people, and people may not want to hear this, that's why it takes longer, because you actually do have to get into that zone to be. And once you are, everything else starts to fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing is a waste of time. That's the beautiful thing about life, but definitely this journey. Everything that you do gets you to where you need to be. Nothing is a waste of time. You
Mm-hmm.
sometimes have to go through more negative things to get to
Mm-hmm.
that positive thing,
Purging, for
right?
example. Yeah.
Relationships, kiss a lot of frogs before you find your
it's,
person,
it's true.
and if you take these opportunities to learn
Mm-hmm.
the positive things and come out of it stronger, then you not only, I mean, this is what I'm most proud of at Pacific Touch. I think that people you come in to fix your skin, you end the journey whole and a completely different. It's, psychological as well as physical. When I look at the after, like when I look at transformation pictures,
Mhm.
or even just seeing clients that are still in the middle of their journey, but 6 months in and they're very Pacific touchy
Mhm.
and just so much happier,
Yeah.
I'm like done. I'm happy
Right.
with that. That's what I want for people.
Right. Like you've done the
I know
legwork.
they're on their way, and that it's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so true. Well, what at the core of it would you say is the Pacific Touch method of acne healing? I know we've kind of gone all over the place and touched on it in a few bits, but if you could just summarize and encapsulate, I guess, what our method is and why do you think that, or what do you think makes that different from other ways of healing that we've seen in the industry?
So you know how we have the tagline "Always with Alofa,"
Yeah.
which is always with it's love and someone, which
Mhm.
is an homage to my background. We are different because we teach people to heal through like loving and nurturing their skin.
Mhm.
We're not beating it into suppression. We're finding balance through nurture. And I don't know that that's something yet that's mainstream. I don't see
Yeah.
it a lot anywhere
Mhm.
in the circles that I travel in as far as like the beauty industry in the US or Australasia. But we are leading the way in teaching people that you can clear very complex acne. Because, like we were saying, a lot of our clients have had failed, Accutane and
Mhm.
lots of the mainstream suppressants, that it's possible to clear your skin holistically, but in a very loving and nurturing way. So I
Mhm.
think that's the difference. We are looking at, instead of stripping and drying skin and beating it into submission, you are reducing the inflammation on a physical and psychological level and strengthening your skin and achieving the balance that your skin needs, but also giving people the education. Like, how I was
Mhm.
teasing you the other day about you could easily be an esthetician. Like,
Yeah.
when I
Yeah,
quiz
yeah,
you
yeah.
and ask you questions,
Well,
and I
because you quizzed me on
notice
a question and I like,
you knew it.
yeah.
But I noticed that with a lot of my clients, that kind of a year in,
Mhm.
they will not only identify, like they'll tell me that they've broken out, but they'll identify the trigger,
Mhm.
and they'll also tell me the thing that they did to calm the breakout down,
Mhm.
and it'll be done.
Yeah.
So it's like you walk away with the education that you need to go through life with the acne prone
Yeah.
skin that you
Right.
know and love.
Yeah.
Like you
And
start to just live with
it
it.
all ends up saving you money too at the end of the day cuz you kind of are with that education, you're able to feed out the noise
Yeah.
and know like, okay, that's not for me because it's has full pore cloggers or whatever, or
So
like
many
that
people tell me
trends.
that.
Yeah, like that trends that, or even like I used to go into Sephora when I was in college and really struggling with my skin. And anyone, like any sales rep, every time, I'd go and speak to somebody new and I'd be like, this is what I'm dealing with. Like, what products do you have? And this is again, like Sephora, whatever. And I would walk away with something new every
Mm-hmm.
time. And then I felt I would use it for a little bit. And then I'm like, this isn't changing. Like nothing is
Yeah.
changing. And you just end up like wasting money on all these, half-used products because you'd go back and be like, well, this didn't work. What else can I use? And blah, blah, blah. Or, even return it altogether. And I feel like at Pacific Touch, it's like, I don't think I've changed my routine in like a year
Yeah.
over. I mean, it's all been like Pacific Touch stuff and maybe like add a few things that we've gotten in, but it's kind of like all the same. Like I know like what I'm getting into and I know like what to
You know
spend
what to
on.
reach for if you're feeling
Right.
dry or if you
Yes.
need,
Yeah.
like
And I think at the
extra
end of the
support.
day, like that's really what saves you, the money, or even like going to the dermatologist and like getting all of these prescriptions. I mean, sometimes they're
I had a
so
client
expensive.
a couple of days ago who said that, and I mean, I'm not saying this like I'm surprised because I remember these visits. Didn't the dermatologist didn't even look at their
Oh
skin.
my gosh, they
The
never
appointment
do.
was less than 10
It's
minutes out the door,
It's in and
you
out
know.
15 minutes. They
Mm-hmm.
don't look at your skin. You tell them what you're going through. And that's what's hard and what I just love and appreciated about Pacific Touch is that like I just felt like somebody actually
Yeah.
looked at my skin and was like, "We got this." you know?
If my clients are dealing at the same time, and a lot of times I encourage, like we connect people
Mhm.
with different experts, but I will help and guide them in what they need to be asking for, advocating for
Mhm.
themselves. Not, don't just take these kind of vague blanket statements of, oh, like if one of our clients has a missing period or some sort of sign that things aren't in balance,
Mhm.
just to be told, oh, well, we'll wait and see when you want to have children if that's
Yeah.
going to be an issue. It's like,
Right.
no, actually, your body is
Yeah.
telling you something now.
Right.
Like, find people that are going to
Totally. Well,
listen to
I
you
even
and take you
remember
seriously.
I made an appointment with a gynecologist to like do some sort of hormone testing because I knew that my skin was in some way linked to my hormones. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, the only thing that we do for that is birth control. And I was like, there's not a test that you can do before you do like see I just
Yeah.
was just
Band-aid
floored.
solutions for everything,
Yeah. And it was hella expensive. The
Mm-hmm.
appointment, it was like $400. And that's what I got. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was that honestly, I was like, okay, I'm done. I am done with this. That's crazy. I kind of thought I wanted to end on some rapid fire questions to ask you. This is kind of new. We don't do this in our other episodes, but I figured it would be fun for this special
Okay.
one.
Does that mean I have to give short answers?
Yeah,
Okay.
which I know is tough.
I know.
But
Did I tell you my childhood nickname?
no, what?
It's the short version of it is Tala. It's like Tol Tala Tala. It means in Samoan talk too much. When I was little, I used to talk too much. And all my family called me Tala.
I mean, some things never change.
I know.
Look at you now. But it's good.
Tala's on a podcast.
I mean, careful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Ready?
Okay, do.
Okay. Best part of a Pacific Touch treatment.
The conversations and the connection. So it's not even physical. Did you want me to give a physical part?
Well, yeah, now do physical.
Okay, physical. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but extractions. And why I can't believe it is because I didn't like it at school. Like I didn't like doing extractions. Now I love it because I know I'm helping people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. It's
Mhm.
not our favorite, but it does move the
It
needle.
really moves the needle.
Yeah. Most underrated acne healing modality.
LED, for
I knew
sure.
you were going to say that we just did an episode. That was well, I don't know how many
If
weeks
I went
ago.
back
Our last
in
episode
time,
was
you
it.
know that I would invest in LED
Yeah.
for sure.
Red or blue light.
Red.
Yeah. Love it.
Mhm.
Biggest misconception about the acne industry.
That there's a product or treatment that will cure acne. It's a condition that needs to be managed, and it's marketed. The beauty industry markets that there's a cure for acne.
Mm-hmm. That's true. One product you can't live without.
Our new hydrating serum, which I
Oh
love.
my gosh, I did not think that you were going to say that.
I scraped the last bit of the sample, and we're doing one more tweak to it. Hopefully it's one more. I keep going back to the team and going, what do you think? And we add like a couple more ingredients.
Uh-huh.
But I scraped the last bit out of the sample, and I'm not good at waiting. Like, I just want to release it now. It is so good. So good. It's going to
You
blow
guys, I haven't even tried it yet.
And you know how
Seriously.
much I like hydration is my
Right.
everything.
And I also feel like you're not a super product-y, like
No.
you don't get, I'm always like, oh, do I need that? What's this product? Like I always want to try like the new things. And you're not. So for you to say that really makes me excited.
I love it. I love it so much. And what I love
We
the
need
most
to get a
is not
second sample
even-
ASAP so that I can try it.
Yeah.
Like that one's mine.
Yeah.
No, I know that you obviously need it too. Well, I'm really excited. Your favorite acne healing mantra?
Listen to, so it would be something about I am listening to the messages that my skin is telling me.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's what created Pacific Touch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what changed my life
Mm-hmm.
when I started listening to the signs.
Yeah. I mean, quick backstory. I remember when I was a client coming in and I saw the mess on you had this like little sign on the wall that said, I am grateful for the messages my skin is sending me.
Yes.
And that was the first time where I ever like, going back to the mindset and the thoughts that you speak or say in your head, that was the first time where I was like, oh, maybe something is happening that
Yeah.
I need to be like grateful for these warning signs
Well,
instead of like beating them down.
we're taught that skin is the problem.
Yeah.
Skin's your guardian angel.
Yeah.
It's actually
It's
sending
your
you
protector.
protecting messages, and we're shooting the messenger.
Yeah.
Rather than being grateful
We are
for
shooting the
no, we're
messenger.
literally.
It's so true.
And no, you're not taught to actually appreciate that.
Yeah.
And what do we do instead? We mute the message, we block it instead of listening.
Yeah. It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, what are you most excited for that is coming up for Pacific Touch?
The skincare line.
Oh my gosh.
I was actually talking to someone about it yesterday, and I love like everything that we have. Like you know me, I'm super loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And I love everything that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like, well, you don't know yet, but you know, before you've had a child, you love your nieces and nephews and they're super cute and you love them.
Mm-hmm.
When you have your own child,
That's
your
what they say.
heart is working on the outside of your body.
Yeah.
Like it's like next level. So I have this feeling that when the Pacific Touch skincare line comes into life, I'm just going to be the fierce mama bear that I am with my daughter with the skincare line. Like I'm so excited. I can't even tell you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's seriously going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, the beautiful thing about it is that every single product, I was thinking about this the other day, is created because of all the people at Pacific Touch.
Mm-hmm.
So really everybody is responsible for this line.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been listened to. I know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And their problems and things that have come up in their lives have been the inspiration for this line.
I mean, that's what 16 years in the treatment room will do.
Yeah. So it's
so
everybody's
true.
line. It's our line. It's the PT fam line.
It's filled with alofa.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, this was so exciting, everyone. I'm just like on cloud nine. I'm so
That went
grateful.
so fast.
I know. Look at us.
I love our chats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody listening and supporting always. You can follow us along at Pacific Touch NYC on Instagram on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday you do a Q&A, so you can ask Nichola any questions that you have over on Pacific Touch NYC.
I love doing that.
Also follow us on the Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Now that have these videos and now that we're gonna, have some really exciting guests on, that Instagram, like make sure to follow because it's gonna be big.
Fire.
Yeah. And let us know what you want to hear from us in the DMs or on, the Skin Talk Tuesday Q&A. Let us know who you want to see on the podcast, what you want Nichola to talk about. If you have any questions, please, please, please let us know. And with that, thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.